Richard Arkwright is the person credited with being the brains behind the growth of factories. After he patented his spinning frame in 1769, he created the first true factory at Cromford near Derby, which is located in Derbyshire, England. Before long, this factory employed over 300 people. Factories required extensive working hours. The average shift would last 12 to 14 hours, 6 days a week, with extra time added on. The wages were extremely low in the 1800s. Employers could set wages as low as they wanted because people were willing to work as long as they got paid. Factories preferred to hire women and children since they could pay them less. Women earned a third or half of what men earned, and they paid children less than 10 cents an hour for 14 hours of work. Children were the biggest victims of the factory. They required cheap labor, they were easily replaceable if accidents occur because there were plenty of children in orphanages, and they were small enough to crawl under machines. The safeguarding of children was completely non-existent. Long hours, irregular breaks, and labor-intensive work made the factory lifestyle difficult. Factories rarely kept any records of children and adults who worked for them. As employment cities could be difficult to get, many people lied about their age. Factories weren't the best place to work. The only light present was the sunlight that came through the windows. Factories were also poorly heated. Machines spit out smoke, and at some factories, workers came out covered in black soot at the end of the day. Workers earned about $8 to $10 a week, working at about 10 cents an hour. Many workers were injured on the job. Here is a young injured mill worker whose hand went into unprotected gearing, crushing his hand. Labor unions formed because workers finally wanted to put a stop to long hours with little pay. They demanded more pay and fairer treatment. People did not want children to work in factories anymore because of the danger it involved. As more immigrants came to the U.S., more workers became available. These workers were willing to work even if others were not. This lessened the effect of the labor unions since businesses had no shortage of workers. This is why most labor unions were unsuccessful. As businesses began to flourish and the national markets grew, more people began to move to the Northeast because they wanted jobs. Most people lived in the slum. 5 to 9 people lived in a single room, which was as big as an apartment. Not only was there not enough room, but more people got sick as well. Because everyone lived in such terrible conditions and so close to one another, diseases spread rapidly. Diseases such as scarlet fever, measles, smallpox, and tuberculosis were quickly transmitted to one another. As industrialization occurred, the middle class emerged. The middle class included skilled workers, managers, store clerks, accountants, and others. These people had the money needed to survive and had money left over for other leisure goods. This extra money enabled them to live comfortably. Most people moved away from the cities because they thought the slum was unhygienic and unpleasant, which it was. This led to the beginning of suburbs, or socially segregated neighborhoods.